that people are actually not trusting the government. Government is just within this government and this financial strain. It's the government does not work alone. So we have organizations like PEPFAR in Uganda. That's why we have TASO. For affirmative to win this debate, they have to show us why religion is entirely to blame for this. I'd love to rest.
We thank that speaker for that fire.
Developing nations should hold religious institutions financially liable for medical expenses of HIV/AIDS victims in areas where the institution campaigns against the use of contraceptives. So, from first of all, we get two major arguments that we want to flash on before we rebuild onto our cases. One, they tell us that these institutions are actually broken just because the nation is also a developing one. Two, they also tell us the argument of nature and nurture, right? So, when you look at the argument of how poor the institutions can also be because they're in undeveloped nations, holding them liable doesn't mean that they have to, that it's only holding them liable. But this is going to, this is going to help them to understand that they're actually making a mistake, that they're causing a problem in society. Holding them liable is to remind them that rather you should actually keep on preaching the gospel, which comes in their team affirmative, that they're actually preaching the gospel of abstinence, right? So they should keep on the right track. That's why we're holding them liable. If they can understand that abstinence protects people from getting HIV in the country, they should as well acknowledge the fact that contraceptives such as condoms can also protect these people from getting HIV. Secondly, the argument of nature and nurture. Well, let me give you a vivid example, right? Let's say there are condoms, right? And I'm someone who is actually about to have sex, right? And I believe that government is there to provide condoms, and the government comes and actually convinces me that rather this is the way to go, right? But in me, I have that self in me that is saying, please take the condom with you, or please don't. But someone else comes and adds on to that bad and says, don't take the condom with you. Who is actually to blame, or who is to be held liable? That same person is actually telling you that rather the condom is not going to protect you, but actually do this risk. So they come and tell us that information becomes only good if it adds value to it. Actually, I'm here to tell you that bad information can also as well influence. Because if there are two fighting parties in this case, the religious institution and the government of the developing nation, one, we should consider if there's a social contract, that actually has to be withheld here. We see that if the government is there to protect its people, then if the religious institution comes and still withstand with its rights, then it is breaking the social contract theory and is hence legally liable to actually hold, to be held financially liable.
Clarity. Are religious institutions the only things that influence choice?
Well, let me come to that. Well, in this thing, yes, I believe that there could be other factors that could actually lead to these people actually doing this. But the religious institutions come and insist that please do this, please do this. If they come and keep on insisting, that is going to lead to a further spread of HIV, which is actually increasing the prevailing rates of HIV in Uganda. Personally, I feel if I'm about to take the drugs and the country is saying that please don't take drugs, but then some kind of friend of mine comes and influences me to do something bad, I believe that you only add value because you feel that that person is telling you what's right. But rather, the instances that these people in those areas are actually getting the religious institutions actually misguide them is what is holding these religious institutions financially liable. So when they come to their argument of have to know, that we have to let these religious institutions know. One, we're seeing that these people are actually living in the same country, the government and the religious institutions. If the religious institution cannot actually acknowledge the fact that the government is actually trying to fight HIV/AIDS in this and this way, and they actually come to acknowledge that one, they're preaching against abstinence, just to also stop maybe HIV, right? They should also consider that contraceptives are also being brought up by government for a reason, not to actually come and contradict with the government. If you're having two contradictory things, I'd like to build on our cases. One, if you're compensating for harm, you should consider which part is actually causing more harm in the country. If one is willing to break a promise that is actually legal in the country, who want to hold them financially liable? Come on, even when criminals break laws, they actually get arrested. Why are we out, yet they are the ones who are actually causing the problem. If the government is there and it is in a strain, just because I'm fighting against the force of HIV, but they're also telling people not to use my advice, what is actually causing that? It is the religious situation that is actually causing an economic strain onto the government, which is actually trying to protect the people's rights and is holding everyone actually to its public health responsibility. Lastly, to add on to the public health responsibility, if the government is there and provides contraceptives, right, I think it's liable because one, if there's a significant majority that is actually stating that yes, contraceptives are actually helping us, why is the religious issue was there, being faithful was there, but why did they come on and bring on contraceptives? This is another reason why you should hold these institutions financially liable, medical expenses, because they're one, not acknowledging that this thing was actually put there for a reason. Two, they're not acknowledging that the significant majority is actually using contraceptives to actually prevent the spread of HIV in Uganda. If they did not come and acknowledge or justify why these people should not be held accountable for some crime they are also committing, then I do not believe that the religious institutions right here are trying to actually solve the HIV/AIDS in Uganda. Well, to fight HIV/AIDS, we have to make these people financially liable because one, it's going to have to change their mindset. Two, we have to let them know that even abstinence is there, but you also need to come and change their ways and understand that contraceptives are also essential, because if people are, you come and tell us something very good, if people are actually having bad nature, and then you come and still tell them, please don't use those condoms, who is going to be actually stopping HIV in the country? The government or a religious institution that is actually fighting against the use of condoms. With that, I rest my case. Thank you.
We thank that speaker for that fine speech and would like to invite a second speaker from side opposition. Here.
I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Developing nations. As characterized by team proposition, developing nations basically look like nations that are not financially able or do not have the resources. Also, both under the category and not manage itself financially. Now, look at how detrimental this is to the case. When we look at religious institutions that are, maybe, let's give an example of churches that are under trees, that are probably held by 5 congregations who want to hold these people financially liable. Look at developing nations in themselves. We're looking at who can collect more than 100,000 of tithe. 100,000 of tithe. We're going to hold them financially liable because of one person's mistake. Now, religious institutions preach not to use contraceptives. Why do they preach this to begin with? They preach this because they put you in a situation where you do not have to use contraceptives. So already they do not preach for you to go and get HIV, but rather for you to avoid getting HIV in itself as a whole. Hence demonizing. World where people, we see that religious institutions run on the concept of faith and religion. In a world where individuals cancel reason and actually go with only faith, then why should you hold a religious institution financially able? When we quote the second speaker saying that the majority knows that contraceptives are supposed to be used, so why don't you follow the majority instead? If you're not supposed to do the right thing, why do you choose the wrong thing and then you go ahead to blame someone else? Now, this is an act of motion. How? The government is supposed to be affected in some way or another, right? So when you look at the act that is our government, what best benefits the government, right? Our government has, first of all, a reputation to uphold, and also to a social contract theory it has to uphold to its people, right? So when we have the government getting the opportunity to blame and put their financial burden on the religious institutions, what then do we have? We lack accountability on the side of the government contracts, because people do their duty by paying their taxes. So what then do we have from this side? We have people paying their taxes, and the government putting an excuse of churches and most probably speaking against contraceptives and blaming them and taking more money from them. And already look at the flawed system that we have. What then do we have? We have extortion in itself as an extension. What happens when churches are being financially liable, right? They are demanding for more tithe and they're demanding for more factory. When they have what then do we have? We have people leaving the religious institutions to go and find other means to put their money in order than being exploited by the government. Yes, it is. We're looking at developing nations in themselves, right? We're not looking at church controls the monarchy. No. We're looking at developing nations like Uganda, whereby the church stands on its own. I gave you a case study of whereby we see that there are churches that are under that tree. How is the church equal to the government in any way? They have no attachment to the government whatsoever. They think that actually control the choices that people make. And they fail to engage on this in itself. That is Ugandan case study, right? So what then do we have? We have the youth being led by the media's information, and they choose to take on what the media says to them. Is the church going to stop them? No. The church preaches against stealing, against murdering, but still we have thieves and murderers today. People know what to do. People do away with reason and choose to only choose faith and have someone to blame at the end of the day. So self-responsibility is something we must look at inherently inside this business. The government cannot secretly call out the church institutions and actually hold them financially liable. Of course, they're not already that being accepted by the churches in themselves. Look at the nature of developing nations today and the financial and the religious institutions of the churches today. We have extortion happening already without this financial burden. What happens then when we hold religious institutions financially liable? Please stop disturbing the rest. What happens then when we have this happening, right? We have people living living religious institutions and people running away from extortion in itself. Then the population loses faith in its government. Why? Because the population is very much aware that
it was actually meant to protect the rights of the citizens. It actually looked their contraceptives